Governor, thank you for being with us this morning. Pensacola is one of the hardest hit cities in Florida right now, with 24 plus inches of water and surge at 5.5 feet. What do you have in Pensacola, stationed in Pensacola right now, to help the people there?
Well, we have both with the Florida National Guard. We've activated hundreds of National Guardsmen. They have high water vehicles to be able to go in and perform rescues if needed. We also have helicopters staged in the area. And then we also have activated some of the urban search and rescue teams, have scrambled those from other parts of the state, staged them up in North Florida, and so they'll be ready to go. Obviously, when you have 80-mile-an-hour winds, they're not going to be able to operate in that. So as the winds die down, if there's help needed, they will be there ready to do it. And so we're really looking at this. Yes, it actually got stronger on the wind, and 100-mile-an-hour winds is nothing to sneeze at. But as you mentioned, there's so much water being dropped. There's going to be more. This is a very slow-moving storm. You're going to see more and more water accumulate. You're going to continue to see flooding. But what will happen is, as this storm continues to move past places like Pensacola and goes north, the water that it drops north of the Panhandle is also going to impact floods that could happen several days from now. So this is not something that's just going to be a 1 or 2 day thing. People are going to have to be vigilant for several days. The other thing I think we're really looking at is the power outage. We already have 140,000 homes without power in Northwest Florida because the storm is moving slow, because you do have significant winds. Those power crews are just not going to be able to get in until it passes. Of course, when you have a lot of flooding and the power lines, that creates big problems too. But the power, most of it's in Escambia County where Pensacola is, but you do have power outages in other places. We anticipate seeing more of that, and then hopefully you'll start to see some of the power crews in there as soon as the storm quiets down, hopefully as soon as tomorrow morning.
So what is the plan then going ahead in the next several days once we are finished with these strong winds and the water does go down, getting supplies in for those that are in need, perhaps food and other supplies as well?
Oh, yeah, no, that's standard practice. That's ready to go. Our Department of Emergency Management. This is something that as soon as we saw it on the radar way down when it was south of Florida, they've been locked and loaded for that. So we'll be able to do that. We also have the ability now. Fortunately, we have much lower COVID-19 prevalence in Florida than we did in July, but we still are addressing that. And so we do have non-congregate sheltering options. There will be health screenings if you're in a congregate shelter area, and that's going to be standard practice for us. So yeah, we'll have all of that. And I just think the message for folks, the water is something, they say run from the water, because don't think you can drive your car in it if a street's flooded. Don't think that this is something that is to be played with. I mean, this is really serious. I would not like to have a Category 5 wind, don't get me wrong, but I can tell you in terms of dealing with this, in terms of some of the risks to life, these flood events really are serious. And so I think most people in Florida are taking it very seriously. But please make sure you err on the side of caution. Run away from that water. Do not get caught up in a flood.
Do you think your plans will be taking you to this area in the coming days after the storm?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, we're going to try to get there this week. Obviously, we want to see the storm pass. We want to make sure everyone's getting what they need to get. But then we are going to monitor how the water levels go once the storm's north and water starts coming down as these basins get filled. That's something that we're really concerned about. I think that you've obviously seen flooding already. They probably have gotten most of the rain they're going to get. They are going to get more for sure. And so we're obviously monitoring that. But it's really unknown what will happen in 2 or 3 days as you may have even additional flood events. So we're going to be ready for that, and obviously just want people to remain vigilant.
Governor, you mentioned Corona and COVID. How has that affected, the staging areas and the planning and the preparation to go in and help the people, though?
Well, look, I think that we've been doing emergency stuff with COVID since March. We've ramped up for a couple storms already this year. We've done hurricane exercises. So these folks, this is kind of second nature to them. It's just like, all the first responders up and down Florida. These are pros. They figure out a way to get it done. I think the new wrinkle has really been, as a member of the general public evacuates, if they have to do that, making sure that they're screened so that if you do have congregate sheltering, you don't end up having an outbreak. And so we were able to actually do that with Isaias. We didn't have very much evacuation because it stayed off the coast, but in the areas that we did, they screened people with questions. They did ask, they did take temperatures, and there were some who didn't pass that who ended up in non-congregate sheltering. So we think that formula worked. And again, I know that there's some folks that will evacuate on this one. We don't know how many yet, but I think that plan will be effective.
All right, Governor DeSantis, we appreciate